Hello everybody. This is the third video of a series of educative video about investing smartly in Punta Cana. Okay, my name is Walter. You already know me, and today we are. I've got a question for you. First of all, if you ever taken a trip over to Punta Cana or walking along those incredible beaches and thought, I wonder if buying a rental property here actually makes financial sense. You're not alone, for example. But there is a problem. Most people get completely overwhelmed by the math, the numbers. They try to calculate mortgage, property management, and vacancy rates in their head, and they just give up. This is completely normal, right? Today we are going to keep it incredibly simple. I'm going to share the high level strategy of a real business case for a premium apartment in Punta Cana. All right? So, I'm not going to bore you by reading a giant spreadsheet on camera, and instead we'll look at the big picture because this is important, right? How the money actually works, and if you stick around, I'll tell you exactly how you can download my complete step-by-step PDF grid case study. So you can sit down with a cup of coffee and review all the exact number at home, calmly, with no rush. And now let's dive into it for a while. So I got the number here, but I don't want to bore you. The first thing I want you to know is to understand is that smart investors rarely use 100% of their own cash. It's all about leverage. Smart investors use leverage. Let's look at a beautiful premium apartment, for example, valued at $250,000, for example. This is an example. Upward. You might think you need $250,000 sitting in the bank to make deals happen. You don't? So local banks here are incredibly friendly to investors. Even non-resident foreigners, often lending up to 70% of the property's value. That means your initial investment, your skin in the game is just 30% or about $75,000. All right? The bank covers the rest. You're now controlling, for example, $250,000 asset for a fraction of the price. But of course, you have a mortgage to pay. So how do we make sure that mortgage doesn't come out of your pocket? This brings us to my favorite part of the analysis. I wanted to know the break-even point. I call this the sleep at night number. All right. When you own a vacation rental, for example, you have two main expenses: your mortgage payments and your operating expenses, things like maintenance and management. Don't forget it. In this case study, I'll document I put together. I break down exactly what those monthly costs are exactly, you know. But here is the magic takeaway for you: to cover every single expenses on this property. You only need to rent it out for about 50 nights a month. You had good 50 nights a month in a place like Punta Cana, and then I will explain you why. All right? Think about that. Think about that carefully. For example, if your property is occupied for just under 50% of the month, it completely paid for itself. All right? It costs you zero, you have good, zero extra dollars. And everything after that 59 that flows straight into your profits. That is when this asset turns into cash flow machine. Cash flow machine. That's exactly what it is. All right. So we know it's safe because the break even is slow. Sorry, is slow, and but it's lucrative. Now this is the question. Let's zoom out and then look at the conservative 5 years outlook. Okay? And like in the real estate, you make money in 3 years, in 3 ways. And this Punta Cana apartment is all three perfectly. For example, the first point, cash flow. My opinion, by achieving just a realistic 65% occupancy rate, all right? This is more realistic. Occupancy rate, you are putting thousands of dollars of net profit in your pocket every single year, you know? Number two, all right? Loan pay down. Remember, remember those renters. They are the ones paying down your bank loan every month, building your equity without lifting a finger. Okay? And finally, the point three, the appreciation. Okay? Property value in high demand areas like this naturally go up over time. This is booming. Punta Cana is booming. When you combine those three things over just 5 years, the total return of this specific case study is estimated at over $180,000. And remember, your initial cash investment was only around 78,000. You know what I'm saying? That is the power of strategic real estate investment. Okay? Think about that. Think about that. I know we just covered some big concepts. And if you are anything like me, you want to see the exact math. Because words are good, but you want to see the numbers. I know that. You want to see the interest rates, okay? The daily rental rates, and the exact operating expenses. This is pretty this is pretty right, you know? I put all of this data into a clean, easy to read document for you, for just that really interested. There is a link right down in the description below. Click that, download the free case study, and take your time. Take your time reading through the actual numbers right tonight. Do it. Listen to me because the numbers are opening you a door. I really don't want you to close it. Okay? I'm just trying to help. Remember, it gets your wheels turning. Leave a comment below or send me a message. I'd love to help you find your perfect investment. And what else? Thanks for hanging out with me today. I'll see you in the next video. And get the next step. Listen to me. Don't lose this opportunity. All right?